Hey everybody. Well, this is a weird one. The device stopped working, but it's on. Oh well. Anyway, I do it mostly without this thing anyway. How's everybody doing? I am doing pretty good. I have been really just trying to take it easy on my foot. It's not going so great. I hope that it gets a little bit better in the next week or so. We go to Dallas for VGGCon soon, and I'd really like to not be using crutches. I hope everybody's doing good. We had some filming in the neighborhood today, and we can hear them very loudly a couple doors down. I have no idea what it is. We joke that there's a porn house down the street, which I don't think there is, but it's not that house. I'm like, oh, it's probably that house. It seems like they're always got a bunch of people coming over, but that's not what it is. They did post like what the production name was. It doesn't mean it's the name of the show or whatever, but I did not go out there. Stayed in the house. Excuse me. Goodness. I worked on organization today. I did get a new set of paints. It's not cheap. I did buy the War Master Mega Set, which is 50 paints. It's a lot. Not War Master, War Paints Fanatics. There we go. I don't like buying sets, and I recommend not buying it all the time. But I do need colors, and I'm not sure about this yellow. I do wish I had like an orange yellow. I mean, this one's pretty good orange, but there's a great color that I think I need to buy, even though I shouldn't, from Vallejo, one of their new ones. It's like Sunrise Gold. Hey, thanks for the follow. Vicks Vapor Rub. Hey, I like Vicks Vapor Rub. I wonder if people still use that stuff. Sorry about the music sounding weird. It's odd. I'm not really certain what it is about the streaming. You know, because we only have me today. Usually we have Derek signing in, and he's in Colorado signing into our connection, and we're feeding two feeds out. We're feeding two feeds out today, and sometimes it improves as you go along, but that was a rough start. Let's see. I'm glad that you actually did that, because I did not check to see if it was working. But yeah, I reorganized that. I bought this paint set. It comes with this pressboard palette. I mean, it's the same kind of material that the other palettes I have are made from, but I feel like they kind of have like a oily finish to it, which I'm not sure how that's got to be. It's like some sort of copyrighted material. Excuse me, patented. But it's pretty cool. Let's cut to, I can zoom out and show it a little bit. It's fine. I mean, I really don't believe in buying these sets mostly. But I wanted a bunch of I don't have a lot of standard acrylics, and the ones I have are quite old. I say I don't have a lot. See, I have 24, 31, 33 different, maybe standard acrylics, maybe a few more hidden here and there. This, I don't want to crush any of these minis. I was organizing them. See, buzzing. I need to really make some decisions on where we store some of this stuff. Minis wise, I don't want them to be here because I'm afraid of like getting alcohols and stuff on it. So there's a couple extra paints in here. I have like my other strong tone. I have too many strong tones because this came with one. So yeah, it's okay. It seems to lean forward, which is probably okay. But you know, it's a free rack, so they actually make it sort of like I did on one I made for myself. The problem is it's even thinner than mine, and these break. So I'll show you. I broke one. Or if it's still broken. Nope. I mean, it's broken, but I've glued it. It's right here. But yeah, it's very difficult to put it together. All of these. I mean, mine was a challenge, but I was able to do it, and it wasn't quite as thin as this. So, but this is fine. It's free, extra set. You know, you get a couple brushes. These are not them. This is one, and this is one, which is cool. And these are the Army Painter dry brushes that I bought, and they're fine for $20 or whatever, $22. But there's a lot of colors. Not enough purples and reds, in my opinion, as is usual. Lots of purple, blues and greens. But, you know, we'll find out. I'm going to probably use a little bit today and see how they go. But yeah, they have the... See, the reason why I don't want a full set of this stuff is it's their, these... well, let's zoom in. These triads. So I think there's 6 triads per color set. It doesn't make sense. It's got to be 5, right? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess, I don't know. 5 is not enough. It's 4, right? 4 different triads, I think. Now, you could probably skip some, but the whole point of that is that you can do a dark, medium, and a light all with these multiple colors, right? Now, I don't think there's any triads in this set at all. They tell you here that this is called Vibrant Green, but the paint, the Army, the fantasy and paintings colors is Rainforest Green. I kind of like the real names. I've had a lot of people had mentioned that long before I bought these. And I thought, well, that makes sense. Vivid Blues. I don't know if it's that vivid, but you know, this is like the darkest in this triad, a set of 6. Wow, the bottle is very sharp. They all are kind of sharp on the top. They're fine. You can see the colors. I really am a big fan of these bottles. I wish I knew where I could buy some this way, because these are very clear. You can see exactly what color it is without any kind of reduction in it, because, you know, this is clouded a little bit, so the color's not going to be fully there. Let's see, I do need to paint a few orange things. Let's just do some so I can try it out. I have a couple of colors that I like. Actually, there's one Games Workshop color that I don't see that I have out, and that's included in the many that I have. I mean, the some that I have of colors. I used to have all Games Workshop not all of them, but a lot of them, of the colors that they had, and they're fine. I like them, but I really do not like the bottles. I am just so tired of the bottles. I was at Sebastian's and I was cleaning one that he had that was kept drying more and more, you know, like in the lid, and I pulled it all out and, you know, used like a airbrush needle to get it all out. But you know, you run the risk of spilling it. When I do it here, I stick it in one of these, and then we'll pick it out, because I don't want to spill it. Although I'll tell you, regular paints are fine, but the contrast paints, you will spill. I actually spilled one recently trying to clean things up. Thankfully, I didn't ruin that paint. It is the one that I've had the worst luck with, but I think it's because I tend to leave that one open while I'm using it, which is a mistake. You know, you really should just get some. That's why I like this, even though it's not ideal, because dropper bottles work better with this. But when I do these colors here, you can see it's a little messed up, unless that black's on the bottom. Oh, it is on the bottom. But it is messed up. I need to get another bottle of it, because it's really one of my favorites. And the fact that it's, I keep showing these things and I'm not cut to that. I'm on me. There we go. That's not the right one. There we go. I keep showing you stuff. Let's go back to the colors. I'm a knucklehead. Anyway, so these are the sets that stuff that I bought. Wow. I thought I switched it. That's what I need. I do need the little device. It's kind of a bummer that it's not working right now. I'll have to figure it out later. There might have been a driver update. It's been a while. I mean, I did paint on a stream on Tuesday a week and a half ago. But yeah, these are the War Paints Fanatics. As I was saying, I do have a couple of different extra strong tones. I think I bought one the second time not knowing, and then this came with it. This is another reason why I don't buy a set. I'm sure you do save some money. Let me see, what did this cost? Let's find out what these cost. So 50 bottles. I did use gift certificates, but actually that's not true. I used the gift certificates. Oh no, I did use some, but I used them mostly for my foot, dealing with my foot. So it was like $160 divided by, that's not quite right. Yeah, I don't think that's quite right. I think it was like 170. Actually, I know what it was. I looked it up. Let's go find out what I paid. I did buy them on Amazon. They were cheaper. They've gone up a little bit. Amazon themselves, I don't think sells any of that stuff directly. It's somebody selling through Amazon. Can I see my order? Yeah, it's $171 right now. Can I view the order? There we go. 166. So let's figure it out exactly. So it's $3.60 per bottle. That's a good deal. I believe these are a bit more. I don't really know. I have only been into a few stores that have had them and thought about it. Right? We did see them at Common Grounds in Dallas, and I will probably buy the paints that I want. My problem is we don't have any good stores around us that carry enough of this stuff. But the paints are good. I mean, they seem good. I have not used them really. I want to put some orange. Boy, do I want to do orange or yellow. I really want to do yellow. Let's try this one. I just mix that one up. I do have, oh, I know, I had some orange I want to paint on the Crimson Court characters. Let's do that. It's already mixed. Now this is a light amount of stuff. I'm not putting so much paint on. Hey, how you doing, Zeo Power? I did stream a little week and a half ago. Oh yeah, you definitely should go get A Gentle Rain. It's great. Hey, Time Roller. We have a few things that we were away for 3 weeks, and for BGCon, for Spiel, and visiting people. We spent 5 days essentially with our friend Henning in Germany before Spiel, and then we went to the center, the convention center, with him, and that was it. We were hoping to do one more meal with him, but he ended up getting sick and had to go back on Sundays before the fair closed, so he was not doing great. He I don't know what happens. I mean, it's a stressful event, and he is like the main person for their booth. He's part of TÜV Spiele, and he doesn't do all the organization. There are people that do a lot in that for the booth setup, but like he couldn't tear it down. Anyway, let's see what brush I should use. I watched a video about removing the hook on these, that 3D painted set. Which one was that? Oh, the from the Gentle Rain. Agreed. So anyway, this is one of the Crimson Court figures I painted, and I just used, I think this is that color that I want to buy, the from Vallejo. It's so it's more yellow than orange. Wow, already feels pretty great. So you're not seeing a lot of coverage. I'm just doing a little bit of highlighting, but wow. That's pretty nice. Now Sebastian's great and he lets me borrow all kinds of stuff, but I definitely prefer having my own stuff. I almost bought some stuff at Spiel and I wished I had, just so I had some of my own stuff. My own brushes. He has generally nicer brushes than I do, but in bad shape. But that's not true. I don't know. I don't like using his brushes because he's like, whatever. And he definitely has some better ones than I do, brands. I was trying to buy some while we were in Germany where they're probably a little cheaper. I mean, I had bought these paints and I should have bought them in, should have bought them in Germany because they're definitely cheaper there. The set of 11 cost $32 and it was 30 euros, and in the States it's 40. You know, they got to get it here and everything. I get it. Although, well, yeah, they're made in Spain, not in China. Yeah, the Target exclusive one's nice. I had somebody commented on the video, and they were saying that they like the basic one. And totally I understand why, but we played Scott's deluxe one and we're like, oh, we want that one. And you know, I'm definitely an advocate of getting the small boxes. We just played on the live stream. We played on the live stream the other day, Radlands, and it was the basic one. And you know, the deluxe one there's several actually higher level ones. One of them comes with the playmat, which is pretty awesome, I'm sure, but we just don't really need that. We're not playmat. But the cool thing about the more advanced one is the playmat is included inside the box that it comes with. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I really like these models. They're really great. I'm hoping they come back. So they just announced the new Warhammer Underworlds that's coming. Yeah, it's been great. We've had Rusty a few times. He will be at BGG Con, which we're excited about. His job is going through some changes, and it's really been hard on him. Super busy, wearing him out. Lots of figuring out what to do. Basically, the office that he works at is going to be going virtual. They're actually closing the physical offices, and so it's been a lot of work to get older software and stuff like that virtualized online, and so it's really been tough. But we did. I think we have one more game with Rusty that we have filmed. Oh, I know we do. Might have been filmed the same day we did Far Away. But we do get to see him soon, which will be great. We're going to try to hang out with him basically exclusively because he just has not been having a great time. Cool. That is awesome. Virtual's not good in most cases. Well, the office is already split. So basically, 2 people come in all the time, and that is it. So, I mean, it could mean that their jobs are done. He doesn't know. But wow, this paint, the pigment is strong. Holy cow. Now it's an orange, but wowsy. It's like all over. Let me put a little bit on the hearthkin. He and the controller, or comptroller, are the only ones that come in. The owners, one doesn't live in the state, and the other one doesn't come in but once or twice a week maybe. So it really is pointless to have a location that they're not going to, which is truly a bummer, you know, because I don't know, you know, all of BGG people, most of them, almost all of them are virtual because we aren't in the same state, you know. And it works for the most part. It's not great, but what are you going to do? Something is not, well, I can use my sponge. That's what I should be using over here. So I have one of those. I have a wet palette, but I'm not using that. I could be, and it probably should be with these paints, but I have one of the Swedish sponges, which I don't think this one's actually made in Sweden. But you know, it's like cellulose and paper, and it's pretty good. And I use it all the time to wet my brushes and to take paint off. This is pretty good. I guess you can't see it. I feel that guy's head is not the right scale. Although this is a suit on a shorter character, so it just looks odd. But considering how big their feet are. Yeah, we've been doing YouTube. It says, never in an office, right? So BGG does have offices. We have the store, which is big. You know, we have a warehouse. I'll be going there in 2 weeks. And we have all of the games for the BGG library there. And it's a pretty big space. We've only been in there 5 years, actually almost 5 years, and it's really full. I wonder what I'm doing there. Anyway, I'm dropping stuff. But you know, there are people there. Jeff runs the conventions, you know, cruises in the conventions, and wow, where did that go? Getting my head with my crutches. Crud, I do not want to forget that. Let me peek real quick with flashlight. So there are people there daily. And Scott goes there. He is based in Dallas, so he'll go there. Wow, I don't see it. Oh, there it is. So he'll go there sometimes, but he mostly works from home. But yeah, there's never been an office for like him, although he could go there, but I think he prefers to work from home. I mean, you know, it's nice. Nikki and I appreciated it. Thankfully, we have each other during the pandemic. That was pretty great. But the library is unbelievable. Wow, I am just throwing stuff around and breaking things. And what is that? Oh, that's a pencil sharpener. Where did that come from? Must be over here. The library is unbelievable. So they have active like 7,000 games. We just had the shipment from Spiel come in today. So they'll prep those games in the coming weeks for the convention. Wow, I just keep throwing stuff down. What is happening here? Oh, I see what's happening. I'm a boob. My crutches are pulling things down with an apron I have over here. And they have to prep them all. And some of the stuff wow, what the heck? Some of the stuff we shipped back is there. It's put all those over there. So I think I need to get rid of that apron, or tie it up maybe. And actually should be using this apron because I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts and brand new pair of pants. I don't want to get paint on them, but that's better, and that's not in the way. So that is good. Hopefully that's all of the miniatures. Let me look. Wish I had a better flashlight in here besides a phone flashlight. But yeah, there will be a library party to prep all of that stuff. We will not be there for that, which is a bummer. We often go ahead of it enough, but they seem to be doing those library things earlier more often. And when they can, they need to, especially for the con. I like going to them, but although the last one I went to, I was busy doing something else the whole time, so I didn't actually get to participate. But they play games when they're done. There's lunch and stuff like that, so it's awesome. And I know that I get the invitations, so I see them coming. Copy of face cards lately. Well, that one is probably still available in Germany. Let me look real quick. I always take pictures. I'll show you the most recent one. I said, this should be a face card. Let me see if it's in my photos. Anytime I see one, I took a picture of a security thing semi-recently that was like, this should be a face card's face. Yeah, this is the latest. This is the latest one that should be a face card's face. It's pretty funny. It is a blep, isn't it? It's pretty great. And the little eyes and everything. It was just on a cabinet, and I just thought it was fantastic. I see that stuff all the time. Let me see if I can find the other one. I have so much stuff. And I actually tried to get rid of photos on the phone just to save space. Oh, here's another one. I think that was in, that had to be, that was in Gen Con. Although that kind of is blackface, I suppose, so not so great. Where's the security one? But I'm always seeing stuff and thinking, another face card. I think I deleted it. Because it's not deleted it, but copied it over to the to my computer. But yeah, I love that game. Let me look on Amazon DE. It is a little bit older. And I have people buy stuff for me all the time. And Annie and Sebastian to buy me stuff, or some other friends too. And if they come, I have them bring it. It doesn't show it. People are searching it too. It came up. That's too bad. Need to make it I thought it was one word. I'm sure it would have come up. That's a bummer. I really love that game. I really like Leo Colavini games. But yeah, there's a lot of, I've just been seeing a lot of cards. I mean, ultimately, you could probably just make your own. Take pictures and get the cards printed out someplace like, there was one service that we used to use all the time called Art Cow. We would get bags printed there, like you can put so when we did Arkham Horror, one of the Arkham Horror games at least, multiples I think, we've used, somebody on BGG put together like links of artwork that they put on Arts Cow on these bags, and they probably got paid a little bit of money if somebody bought them. Wow, that paint dries fast here. But it was pretty great, and we've had decks of cards. I have a deck of cards I think Steph Hodge was involved with. that was like a generic deck of cards that you could use for all kinds of games. And it was pretty awesome. I wonder where that's at. It's got to be here somewhere. It's not specifically a game, so it might not be. We actually played a new Call of Duty game, like predicting the weather or something like that from 999 Games. We did not get a copy of it. And 999 usually puts them out in English as well as, because they're from the Netherlands. I'm sorry, I'm painting off camera. But yeah, Arts Cow was great. I don't know if they're still around. I mean, all that stuff's a little more expensive now, right? Shipping's more expensive. But like, that's why I'll have somebody buy something for me and hold on to it. But like, if you order, I still order from Amazon UK and .co.uk and Amazon.fr and Amazon.de, because they, if you order enough stuff, it offsets the cost of shipping as long as it's not too massive. But yeah, we purchased a game called Zoc. Gosh dang it, is it in here? I don't think it is. There was a game from 7 or 8 years ago, and I never even saw it. And hilariously, a friend of ours, I looked on BGG, he had a rule set, so he obviously knew about it. He used to live in the area, he does not anymore. But we'd only played it just a few months back, probably 6 months ago. And so I had our friend Annie order it for me so I could copy face cards on eBay. Oh, BG Market. I mean, it's one of those ones that I think it was recommended for an SDJ. It might have even been nominated, but I think it was recommended. And so it might come back in a run, but definitely people bought it. It's worth getting it. Nope, paint not going on. Not bright enough. Needs yellow. So, I mean, reality is I shouldn't bother buying yellow. I mean, buying that one that I want. Annie was on the streams. She's been on our show a few. They've come to LA a few times and they've been on the show a few times. And then she was on some streams during. I don't know if she was during pandemic. We filmed 2 games with her remotely. She works for Queen Games, so she played Winter Kingdoms, I think, which is a kingdom builder, like different variant. Oh yeah, she's in the chat too. She's now a mom, so she has crazy hours that she wrote me last night. And I'm like, what are you doing? But she was up feeding the baby, and so she's kind of worn out. But yeah, I was saying you shouldn't buy. I mean, look at this. Is basically the color that I want. And why buy more when that's like basically 50-50 2 colors? And that's part of the reason why I don't think these sets are necessarily worth it. I just want to try these pigments, and I kind of go in whole hog. But I bought these paints. Yeah, you can mix it. So these colors here are from a color set that was created by ProAcryl, but the YouTuber Rogue Hobbies, her name is Louise Sudgeon. She made these 3, basically 2 sets of 3 that you could do the entire. She did the entire color wheel. She was experimenting, trying to do all the GW colors. That not all of them. She just pick one out and then try to mix it with the colors that with these sets. And they're amazing. I mean, I've just used them a tiny bit, and here's a bright yellow and a pretty great red, orange red, but I mean, if you put some yellow in, it'd probably be what I'm looking for. But yeah, you can mix the colors. There's just no reason to. But I wanted to try these. I bought these at Gen Con. But it isn't too hard to do. And you can really, now, if you're concerned about matching colors multiple times, then yeah, it might be better. But I find that there's enough variance anyway, because the amount of paint that you have on your brush, things like that, that it really doesn't warrant. Where was I painting that? I put it down and I don't know. I thought it was this one. Oh, it is. So you can easily mix colors. It's really not that hard. And you get really nice results, and it's less paints. I mean, I'm crazy. I don't have a jillion paints, but I got enough paints here to be embarrassing. And you know, I would love to try all of them, but I just, because Sebastian's all in on the Vallejo, and they're great. I mean, I really like that one, and all of them were surprisingly good, like the Vallejo ones that I used. Wow, that might be too wet. It is too wet. So that's a problem. You need to like get the right consistency, and this is all brand new to me. I don't know these colors. Might be too wet. Actually, I should use the stand. Be easier, and that was another thing. I didn't have a stand, and I didn't want to borrow. I'm sure their friend came over, and he'd probably loan me one for a few days because he's done it before, but I just didn't want to bother him. Is it too much paint? Is it too wet? I don't know what I'm doing. See, these are new to me. And this brush seems to be a little bit, I want to experiment. So I watched a video about care for these, for brushes, and they were saying with synthetics you can, yeah, see, this is the color essentially that I've been already doing. Kind of, it's a little more yellow here maybe, but maybe I'm just not putting enough on. But yeah, the yellow I used there was like a Games Workshop one that I thought was this Avalon Sunset, which I have somewhere and I don't see it. I really don't see it. It's weird. Anyway, you can get, but like if you're paying a lot and you think that you need to do that, then maybe it's better to buy the paint. My feeling is you don't have to worry about it too much. Maybe I'm not zoomed in. Somebody was telling me that I was too zoomed in on these, but I feel like you can't see it if you don't have it too zoomed in. And I don't feel it's necessarily lazy if you're using colors that are already mixed. It's certainly easier. But I think your skills would increase too if you mix paints. This brush has a nice hook, probably not great. So yeah, this yellow that I did on the other minis was one that Sebastian had. And I thought it was the one I purchased, but I don't think that is the same color. But here's the deal, it could be. They might have changed it slightly, you know, I guess, I asked, but the guy didn't answer, because we met with someone at GW, at Spiel, a nice guy, really nice guy, but I just wondered, like, if they had, because I'd heard that all their paints are now produced in-house, so I don't know if that means they have they must have a factory, I don't know, or, you know, something, the way they'll have it produced. They used to use, I don't know who the French one that they did in the early 2000s, which I really like those paints. I might be remembering them, you know, or think differently of them now, but at the time they were great. I mean, I still have some of them. The thing that I love though was the metallics, and they don't have those. Nothing, and that's why I wished I knew the French manufacturer, because I would buy those. At least from memory, they were pretty awesome. I did get yellow on that. So this is nice paint, but I don't think I'm doing a good job here. I just guess I gotta get used to its consistency here. Sebastian was very nice, though. He was saying I did a great job on the... he is a great painter. But he said I did a great job on the Crimson Court vampires. Wow, I am really having a heck of a time. I do film in the studio. I have a spot over on the side where we have a lot of racks that store our games in here, and so I made this little nook here that we kept the table here. The table was my drafting desk when I first started working as a designer in an architectural office, and when they closed their offices, they split the partnership. They were selling stuff, and so I bought my desk. And so I always used it for stuff, but now it's my paint desk because it's a door with laminate on it, and it's pretty amazingly solid, and I can mount things to it, and it's solid core. Really great. Gosh, I'm off camera, I'm sorry. So yeah, this is like it's in the same room, but I used to actually, when we were streaming, Scott and I would paint together on streams in 2020 and 2021. I would stream from the desk, from the game table. I would so the game table we have can flip, and there's a backside where it's hardboard, so like it's MDF, but it's temper. They used to call it masonite, and I really love masonite. That's what my desk surface is. In the hilariously, another drafting table that my dad I bought at the same time as he did. They were motorized lift desks, and we bought two, and I have mine, and then when he passed away, my mom gave me his, and so I modified them so Nikki and I could use them as standing desks or sitting down, and so they are so they were reduced in size a little bit because they were huge, and I mean, I learned how to draft, but I never really did drawings other than in school on vellum. I did definitely in school, but I did everything. I mean, I was on AutoCAD and the different ones after that. I did that and Revit, Yeah, this is really the color I've been wanting. I had not bought this paint yet because I stopped paint. I only recently got the orange, the real orange. That's Fire Giant orange that I'd borrowed. I mean, I've talked about it before. I borrowed it from, oh, there's a second line that it should be on these. I do wish that I mean, we don't have room to take this stuff home, but I do wish that I would buy some of this in Germany, because I bought these minis and they were considerably cheaper than the US counterparts. It's not, the GameNight sponsorship is awesome. Maybe someone packs light. After you go to Spiel, nobody packs, everybody's packing heavy. It was bad too, because my foot was, I broke it 7 weeks ago. And so poor Nikki was doing all that. GameNight's great. They actually reached out to us about sponsoring us. They liked our show. And so it's pretty good. It would be awesome if it was more. It would be awesome if they do more stuff. But you know, everything's kind of reducing the amount that they're spending. And but they still sponsor us. We got a new contract this year. We did two years before, and they help cover mostly cover our editor, which is great, but we need to figure out how to make more money on all this stuff, and it's not easy. I mean, I've talked to many other content creators, because we do our show as cheaply as possible, our game nights. I mean, we don't initially nobody got paid. I was doing it for fun, and it still is fun, but we just had all the gear. And Scott wanted us to try that, and I'm like, okay, you know, I didn't think anybody would watch. And then he wanted me to come on full time, but we wanted to wait. I needed to wait because my job that I had, making a mess. The job that I had, I was responsible for some software that was being sunsetted. You know, they were phasing it out. And it just took forever. They tried different tacts and different packages. Finally found one that was pretty good. And when that got finished, I said, I gave my notice, and they were really thankful that I hung in there till it was done, because I didn't want them to have to get another person to run the software. It's just not, it was old and did a great job, but it was just too old. And so then I came on full-time in 2017, and so I was the only one getting paid, and I was doing all the editing. Then in 2019, we hired Derek. He used to work with Dice Tower, and I told Scott, I was talking with him, and I called out to Scott, I'm like, I want to steal this guy from Dice Tower. Now, I was joking, but I mean, I was serious. He's great. He really does the research. And so, but we're trying to, it'd be nice to, I don't know, it'd be nice to pay everybody. We just can't. It's not, if we paid everybody, we could not do game night. So, everybody does it out of love. Dave is wonderful, and Mike and Aaron and Rusty, they all appreciate what we're trying to do and have fun with it, so they do it with us. But it sure would be great if we could pay everybody. So, you know, we have a annual support drive every December, and we ask people, we're not great about it, but we need to be, to support GameNight there, but we may at some point try to do a Patreon, you know. The problem is I actually support Patreons, but I don't know how much they really get, you know what I mean? And you know, a lot of people know that we have the support drive, but it's not always remembered. You know, it's done at Christmas time. Not a great time really to ask for support, but I understand why we do it then. So we're trying to figure it out because it is expensive. We do a lot of we have a lot of different people creating stuff, and Candace and Eric and Derek. We got Brad doing stuff. He doesn't do video stuff anymore, but he does our weekly, the Geek Weekly, and it just adds up. And part of it is, you know, promoting the brand. Well, GameNight's not stopping anytime soon. I know Shut Up and Does, yeah, it does their annual drive. I mean, a lot of places do Kickstarters, but we can't do that. Watch It Played, everything is sponsored. I know, I mean, at least Rodney's videos are all sponsored, and I'm pretty sure some of the other things are sponsored, that they have enough people that they kind of have to do that. And so yeah, Rodney gets paid for his videos, which is good. He's lucky. I mean, not everybody can charge enough to actually kind of make it work. But I liked working with Rodney. He's great. And Chaz was part of the team too. I really liked his top 10 videos. Yeah, Rodney was great. We had him on a bunch of times. He would come to LA. He hasn't come as much, and I don't think he'd have the time. But yeah, he hasn't come since 2020. We had I think we filmed quite a few games with him that year. That was when we all went to Gamma, the last time we went to Gamma. And he was a lot of fun. We did, I think we did the Lord of the Ring, the Middle Earth game with Chaz and him at another point in time, like in 2019. I think we actually had some problems with the audio on that one. I was able to get it to fix it, but or get it to work reasonably well. We use a mixer recorder. We've used one for almost the entire time that we filmed. Not the same one. We bought a different one a few years back. That will record every channel independently. And so somehow, this is like my first experience with it. And this was the old mixer. Not my first experience with the mixer, but my first time that this had happened. And so we had to take the isolated track. I think it was Rodney was just too low. Part of the issue is I'm doing the audio mixing while we're there. And if you notice, I almost always, well, lately I've been kind of too loud because I don't know. You know, I'm listening to myself while doing the checks. So in comparisons, even though I'm using VU meters, it just is very difficult to get it right, for me anyway. And so I had to actually bring Rodney up in the mix. And I've done that a couple times since. I've actually had to do a whole mix entirely. Yeah, we hope to Zeo Power. We do the Advent calendar. We I got it. Oh, there it's going. Okay, good. We bought the game last year, and we're always 1 year behind. Well, actually, I think kind of 2 years behind. We're 1 year behind the English one and 2 years behind the German version of it. But everybody's busy. Deborah's filming right now. Dave's in town, and so we will. The goal is to try to film some of them before the end of November, and then hopefully get a couple days in. Deborah really wants to do it. The last time I talked to her, I haven't talked to her for about a month. She went to film a new movie last week when we got home, which was unfortunate because Dave was here part of that time while we were away. As a matter of fact, a good chunk of the time, I think, sort of. He's getting work done on his house. But if it comes down to it, we'll film with somebody else for a few, and then what we did the first time, maybe we've done that 3 times now. We filmed them with multiple people. We do 5 or something and so it was basically 3 of us doing them all. And then I think Dave kind of came in and did the rest. He was really loving it. And then last year, Deborah and Dave were we want to do them all. So, which was fine. It ultimately would have been rough because Aaron came in and did a few at the very end because Dave went the year before anyway. Dave went up to his mother's and father's. I think his father was still around. A little early, which is totally understandable. It's December. Yeah, Deborah's awesome. Deborah's not doing Daredevil right now. That's done for this coming season that I guess isn't coming out until March. So more than a year after filming was done. But then they have another season filming around that time, I believe, if not before. So we won't have a ton of time with her, and then she'll be gone for a few months at least. She gets to come home some, but when she comes home, she wants to see her family, and that's what's happening up ahead, where she's hoping to film a little bit with us while she's in town, because her son really, really misses her when she's gone. So he'll be 4 this year, I think. So yeah, she's awesome. But we have a new friend that you haven't seen him yet on the show. He's also an actor that Russ introduced us to. And he wrote me and wants to come over, but we were sick. We're feeling better now, so maybe we can film before we leave with him. But we filmed 2 games recently, one of which will be next week. And boy, oh boy, did we have a hard game on it. So you will meet him next week. Good guy. He what was the other session? I'm sorry, Zeo Power. Oh no, the last message, yeah. That was, well, if you notice we changed sides of the table. We might have shot that twice. I can't remember exactly what happened now. It was a mess. And it was terrible because the second session was, or the other session was pretty great. And I think Deborah has that game. We just gave it to her because she really loved it. I think we bought that one. We buy most of the games that we do on the show because we don't really want to. The issue is we don't want publishers to, you know, get their hopes up about us doing it. We do have some publishers that just send us a lot of their stuff, and they, you know, we'll often do them on the live streams. That's how we sometimes determine whether we want to do them on the show. Wow, the brush is drying out really fast with the plumbus. Yeah, I don't know. The problem with doing games again is, number one, there's always something new we want to do. And, you know, we've done, another thing we do is older games that people would like, oh, you should do more older games, but the audience really isn't there for them. I mean, it's okay. We're not super concerned about the views, but we do want people to watch. And, you know, I mean, it's very small audience for all this stuff, but yeah, we've been doing it a long time now. We actually started filming it 12 years ago. We didn't release our first episode until December. I mean, I had never edited that kind of footage before. So I had to learn the whole thing. And it was pretty cool. So we do have Derek editing, but I also review the edits. So I put the project together, then I send it to Derek. Just the project with proxies. Proxies are smaller versions of the file, the video files. And then he just sends me the project itself, just the file, which is, you know, pretty darn small. And then I reattach the high resolution footage and review it and then render it. That was yesterday. I had to do it for Rock Hard. I do wish we had Jackie on that episode. Amanda's a good friend of hers and had developed the game, or, you know, play tested the game with her a bunch. Not developed. And but Jackie was just nervous that we wouldn't be honest about the game with her here, so, which, you know, we don't. First of all, we're pretty easy gamers. We find lots to like in a lot of different stuff. So I think people like hearing negative reviews, but I mean, I've not liked some of the games we've done. Generally, I'm in on the choice, so I'm usually a fan. But where's the guy that's complete? I guess it's this guy, but boy, he does not look right. I mean, it's not done because his shoes aren't done, but I thought there was another one. Super happy that I got that orange, though. Now I can actually really get these done. I have another set too. I foolishly bought basically another set of the same thing, which I really am. I want some of the vehicles if I'm going to do more of these, but it's interesting. The colors aren't quite the same. Now that could have been just. Boy, I don't remember. I tried to paint all the red, but I might have. Maybe I got. I can't remember if. Sebastian, we tried Spiel, they were not selling individual bottles of paint, only sets. And I don't think the person that he got stuff from, he kept asking, like, will you guys sell it? And they're like, we can't, it's a display, and we need everything to stay the way it is. She was last on for the homebrew game? I don't think so on one of the streams, yeah, but I don't think that's the last time. I remember we did something with Might have been a year and a half ago, or maybe 2. I don't know. We did. She can't stay. She can't stay up late. Driving home late is a problem, and you know we often, like, if we had her over for Rock Hard, she'd have been going home really late. And so we haven't had her on for a little while. We need to like film during the day at some point. Boy, that's terrible. They did a really bad job on that one pad. Let me see if a little bit of the orange, fire joint orange will cover it up. Yeah, it's not just that the games are long, but it sometimes takes us a long time to do it. No, that was Jackie. She designed she did an RPG around Christmas time with us. A couple times she's done an RPG. One was about a band trying to get to the show. Jackie's awesome. She was on Carpe Diem. She was on oh goodness, what's it? Abomination. She was on Abomination. She was on Exit. No, not Exit. Escape the Temple Curse from Queen, the Roll and Write. She was on. She's been on a few. She's great. Boy, I guess this is the color. No, I didn't have speed paint medium when I used it. I definitely used 1.0 too. Boy, I don't know, man. That looks like a different color. But you know, it's probably just because it's on the palette. I also used a wet palette when I used this originally, so. I mean, you know, that's where you use an opaque paint. Or paint gray over it and then put the color back on it, which is definitely easy and not too hard to do. I mean, easy and not too long to do it. But yeah, Jackie's been on a few other ones. I don't remember what. Oh, Dune. So that was 2020. I don't remember when that movie came out. I think it came out. We put the video out when it came out, but I think we had filmed it a few months earlier. But we decided to wait until the movie, because the movie got delayed, and so we thought that would be fun to put it out at the time of the movie. Gosh, that's years ago. But I don't know. It would be great to have her back on. I feel like she's done something more recently, but probably not. Yeah, Tashi, she's awesome. It was great because we told her she graduated to the next level, so she was part of the SDJ jury as well. She did not play any of the Kenners, I don't think. She did play the Ticket to Ride, and that was a Kenner. So she played Ticket to Ride Legacy, Legends of the West or something like that. So she had something to say about that, but it was great. I mean, you know, she's growing up. When we first had her on, she was 5 and a half. And she had a great time, so we're very happy. She's sure she's going to not want to do it at some point. Going to be thinking about other things. The crazy thing is we have a friend of theirs that we met, of Brian and Tashi's, they have 2 daughters, and they wanted to do, you know, but it was, I can't remember, we had that conversation a couple of years ago at Gen Con, because they live in the area, sort of, and they're like, we'd come, but it just hasn't really worked out. We're so bad about planning ahead. Most of the time it's like, do you have time? Okay, let's film. But you know, everybody's busy. I mean, even Nikki and I, even though we're available, we're not always available to film. That is not putting any color on. Well, there you go. Too much, and now it's bad. Gosh, that really looks like that color. So this should probably be on a wet palette. It's drying too fast, and it's, to thin it back up, I am putting it, putting water in it. It's not great. It's too low. It's right in the fold. Well, I think I need to mix more paint or go to the wet palette. She's a teen. Not quite. Tashi is not quite a teen. Another couple years. But she's pretty advanced. And I loved it when she was teaching us games. We've done a couple. And I would love to have her do it again. I mean, it was funny because we always had, you know, all of us adults play the kids' games because we hadn't, you know, like Mark Johnson was always the parent who would give us, we'd use him to give us feedback. Where's the sponge? Shoot. I kind of want to use the wet palette here. I guess I won't. But where is that? It's got to be in another palette. I have a large wet palette, and I have so many wet palettes, ones that I built a long time ago. Nikki was the first one to teach me about a wet palette ages ago. Now they make them all the time. She'd make them with like butcher trays or something like that. I do not think that is it. That is big. That is not it. Ugh. What do I do with it? I don't want to use this one. It's too big, but I have a brand new sponge, but I really don't want to use it. Wow, it's gonna fall. Too much stuff piled up here. I'm trying to organize these and figure out where to put all that stuff. Yeah, her hair's growing. Yeah, Mark hasn't been on it forever. Aaron, the last he was on was the beginning of the season. We did, we did 2 games. So he was on Captain Flip for the SDJ videos, and he was on Arkham Horror Edge of the Earth, Arkham Horror, the card game Edge of the Earth. And so he works for the area for the county registrar. So this is a very busy year. It's an election year, so he is really busy. And I need to talk to him. I actually should. He won't be coming to BGDCon. There's no way. They'll be counting the ballots forever. I wish he was coming to BGDCon. Yeah, I need to talk to him and see if he has. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? And so he isn't going to be available for at least another month or 2, probably. And then. Yeah, Nikki's been growing her hair. It's quite long. She got tired of blow drying her hair. I mean, she still blow dries her hair, so that can't be what it was. It's kind of not a bright yellow. I mean, it looks pretty bright on the camera there. It's not the yellow. I mean, I probably want an orangier yellow, which is probably not what I really want. So yeah, hopefully Aaron would be great to have back. So he hasn't been on since like July. And then we haven't had Candace forever. There's something we want to do with Candace. I mean, Candace has been 4 years or something like that. Oh no, that's not true. We did. We had her in the top 10, the SDJ videos. I don't think she was in this year's though because she hadn't played enough of them. But we had her in last year's, and we did top 10 with her, which is great. But yeah, it's crazy. We haven't had. I mean, Nick and Mike we did do Thunder Road with them, but they are, they moved out up north, so we won't have any. We really were bummed we only filmed one with them too because we wanted to do more, but we also haven't had. I mean, there's a lot of people we haven't had on for a long time, and new people. There's some new people we want to have on that we haven't really have it click yet. But I was thinking about Tim Schafer the other day. But he doesn't travel down here like he used to. Hopefully we'll see him again soon too. I like Tim. Even people get frustrated with not enough Deborah, and I'm like, well, we'd love to have her more, but I'm very happy that she's doing this show. She really wanted to do it. So I'm eager to see what ended up happening. Like, I don't really know anything about, I mean, I don't know anything about what happens on the new season, so other than she's on. Wow, this is really sloppy. Okay, I can fix it. I wonder what I'm doing wrong here with the paint. Not yet. We do want to see it. It debuted while we were away. Hey, ABC 3D Models. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, we want to see it. We like the Marvel stuff. We have Disney Plus. We just haven't watched any. We actually watched What We Do in the Shadows. They had 3 new episodes for their last season the other night. And those are pretty good. We actually, when we got back, I had been reading all the old Ian Fleming, James Bond novels, and you know, they're weird but great. And I just wanted to see how the movies. So Dave was the one that started me on it. He was doing that, where he was reading the books and then watching the movie and seeing how much carried over. And I did the same thing. I actually finished it where he stopped at midpoint at one there. And I'm one of those ones that will drive through and get the whole thing. And so I checked them out. I have in the shelf. There's in the background behind Nikki and Dave usually. There are 12 Ian Fleming James Bond novels that I bought a long time ago, but I just went them on my Kindle, so I checked them out from the library while we were away. And the one that I really wanted to watch, so I watched it. We have a Plex service that I set up that has all my DVDs on it, Blu-rays, and so I watched. I wasn't necessarily. I was trying to read them in the order of publication, but not entirely. But Live and Let Die was one of the ones, And I was just knocked out. Like, the book is from the 50s, and there was quite a bit of stuff in there that was pretty advanced. Now, it wasn't the same as the movie, but there was a lot of stuff that was similar. I was shocked. And so, but not really a lot. You know, there's others that are much more close to the final movie. But it was great. So we watched those. I watched Live and Let Die, but I haven't watched any of the other ones after that. We watched all the Connery and the single, what was his name? George Lazenby. I thought he was pretty good. I don't know. I was reading about some stuff about it after I watched it. You know, like reviews and stuff, you know, like contemporary opinions, about, not contemporary, contemporary to the release opinions. I was like, wow, what was the problem? I thought he was good. And I thought it was a good story. And they make very, I mean, it's not the same as the book entirely, but lots of it is. Wow, I'm having a heck of a time here. Vox Machina, yeah, I've not watched that yet, and they're on their 4th season coming up here too. I just haven't had time. Our friend Matt Paquette has, I don't think he's been on anything, but he's been around for filming or events, because his company did their games. He's a graphic artist and does the stuff for Critical Role. And so it's he's really telling us all kinds of great stuff about it. I mean, it happens here in LA, but we don't know any of those folks. And what, you know, what am I going to do? I'm not a massive RPG guy, so I don't need to be around for anything. Although I think they had one of their holiday parties thingies that he went to, and I think it was around in December. It doesn't seem right, but I can't remember. But anyway, they went to this amazing bowling alley that I've seen photos, but I've never gone to. And you can go. It's like in Silver Lake or something like that. I just need to go sometime. Wow, I'm really not having very much luck today. It could be just the new paint. I'm just not used to it, potentially. Let's see that other shoulder that I worked on. Of course, where did he go? Is he this guy? No. This is the one with the big box. No, this is it. Hey, I didn't, oh, but I touched that. I fixed, covered that up. It actually covered up pretty good. I wish my foot was not hurting. This weekend, ELO is doing their final tour, and these are the last dates in LA. And the tickets aren't terribly, I mean, they're not cheap, but I mentioned it to Nikki. She's like, oh. It's just, you know, your foot, it's ridiculous. I can't. I'm trying to decide. We can still probably get tickets because they added the second date. And I like them. Grew up with them. Wow, I'm really doing terrible. Hey, thank you, Ace Dansma. Thanks so much. Thanks for watching the show, too. we're happy you're watching, because if you guys didn't watch it, we probably wouldn't do it anymore. I saw some of you saying that the Rock Band today, or Rock Hard was the board was not good. And I disagree. It's just, you know, it's busy. There's a lot going on, but it's worker placement, you know, it's what it is. And it's really not a hard game. We had a big problem with, so, you know, we know Jackie. And Amanda talked to her as soon as we were done, and it turned out we had done, how long do I have on my recovery? I'll tell you the rest of the Rock Band. So they did 2 gigs in a month. You know, every phase is a month, and you're only ever allowed to do 1 gig. So that accelerated the game, which, you know, I don't think I would have won, but I might have done a little bit better because I had some things like trying to come together. And Jackie told us immediately after we were done that we had messed up, and we're like, oh. So she wanted to watch it, but I just didn't want to, you know, it was probably 3.5 hours. The episode's about 2.5 hours. Anyway, my foot should be getting better soon. I mean, this is the 7th week. They were saying 6 to 8 weeks. So, well, they said 4 to 6 to 8 weeks. So hopefully by the 8th week, it'll be good enough that I will be in a boot, regular shoe. And I will not be using crutches, but I may bring them with me. I don't know, we'll see. So before we leave, because we leave on a Thursday for BGG Con, which is, you know, like 4 or 5 days before the con. I'm gonna start walking around without it and see how I can do, because I really do not want to have to deal with it. If it's a problem, I have a little knee scooter, and I will probably get that. I'm always dreading stairs, and I do okay on them, but I feel I know I hurt myself in Spiel at Essen, climbing stairs at the STJ dinner. It was a real bummer. Boy, that is really not great. I don't think I have the consistency of the water right here. There is a medium for this paint. I don't have it. I wish they'd give it to you in the set. Because I like to use mediums to sort of reduce the intensity of colors. It's not really thinning the paint. You still need to use water or acrylic paint thinner or something, you know. Anyway, yeah, I'm hoping it's better by the beginning of, you know, sort of beginning of next month, which is getting close. Next Thursday is the 31st. And we will be streaming game night of a Halloween game. We're not sure yet. I don't know if we're going to do what I was saying we're going to do, because it will be the episode that next week. The game night episode. Although I will tell you, we kind of want to be redeemed, so it might be. Hey everybody, hey Tim. I don't know if Tim's there, but thanks for raiding us, everybody. How was the Codenames Live? Or I think it would be Codenames Live. I thought that was Mondays. I am painting, as you can see. We finally met Tim at Gen Con? It's gotta be. It feels like it was just last week. But we had, you know, talked to Tim online many times. But we'd never met in real life. It was great to meet him. Oh yeah, it was at Gen Con. I remember we were at the restaurant, the breakfast place. And I was excited to see him because I've never seen him in life, real life. It was great. He was exactly the height I thought he should be and everything. But it was awesome. He's really a nice guy. Was it Amanda playing tonight? Yeah, so these are Leagues of Votan. This is the Hearthkin I want to get some of the vehicles. One of these days I'll get some. But I really like these. It was a wild one tonight. Mondays and Thursdays. Oh, okay, cool. It was super cool to finally meet you. Well, it was really cool to meet you, Tim. You're funny and awesome. And I love that you guys do the Nerd and Correct still. You know, I mean, it's fun. Boy, these paints are drying fast. These have to be on a wet palette. Have to be on a wet palette. I need to find the sponge before I paint again. What time is it? It is the time that I can't see. 7:05. I got another half an hour or more. Got to call my mom a little bit later. Main cast. Ah, okay. Picked up some custodians to learn, and in true Warhammer fashion, I left them on the shelf for months. It's the way it is for me. I mean, I bought these last year, and I didn't get the paints, so I was borrowing paints because I painted these in Germany, a bunch of it anyway, and I really want to finish them. I also have another set. I bought another 10, and I want to get some vehicles. I really would love to. I like their vehicles. I think they're pretty neat. A friend of mine does not like these at all. I'm like, well, I mean, I think he likes the dwarves, and he feels that space, you know, they were called squats, the olden days, and he just doesn't love these as much, but I think they're neat looking. Yeah, but we've been trying to get it together. We've only been home for a week and a half. Question of the Bud, thanks for the follow. You definitely should learn finish one army and learn to play it. I mean, I have too many. I've been collecting Warhammer minis for 25 years. Gosh dang it. That's not quite right. I've been doing it for almost 25 years. No, that's not right. It would be like, what happened was I went away with our group. I went away to, my grandfather passed away, was ill, and ended up passing away while we were there. And when I came back, they had picked up the group that we played with, board games, had as when they were younger played Warhammer 40K and fantasy, and had picked it up again, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to do that. That's too expensive. And then I fell in love with the minis. So I have actually quite a few painted armies. I have an Eldar, not really a full Eldar. I have a full, what they call Drukhari. Eldar are now called Eldari. And the Drukhari were the Dark Eldar. But that was actually Nikki's army that I painted. And she paints pretty dang well. She's an artist, so I want her to actually, you know, I bought her some stuff for Christmas a few years ago. And she has not done them. I mean, you know, she has her hobbies, so when I'm doing this stuff, but she likes it, you know, and I think she'd be really good if she just painted. Gosh, I cannot believe that was over 2 months ago. It's almost September, October, yeah, November. It's almost 3 months ago that we saw Tim. The real downer about all these armies, I mean, you can win with them all, but it's a challenge to just beat the Marines. And that's a bummer, you know what I mean? But I don't play to win anyway. I mean, you got to play to try to win, but I don't worry about it. And I haven't played Warhammer in ages, regular Warhammer, 40K or anything. Just, you know, the Underworlds and some of the board gamey things. And I really like Underworlds, although it's changing. It's getting easier sort of again. So I hadn't actually played a version. I stopped buying them. I was so in, and I was buying all the stuff. And then I kind of, at the beginning of the pandemic, I just kind of forgot about it. And then I saw, like, I missed two waves, you know. I was like, what? I don't know what I was thinking. Like, of course they're going to still make them if they can. And then one of those waves was the, was it Dire Chasm, or do I have Dire Chasm? I don't think I have that one. I have Beast Grave. So I think Dire Chasm had the Red Court, Crimson Court. And I love those minis. They also had a box, like they had some sort of a, maybe another version of it, a mid version of it, that had them in it as well. And I just love these minis. They're just great. So I had Sebastian just get me the minis, because he just, first of all, it's less expensive there for sure. And he definitely can find good deals, so he got me a good deal on this. And so I painted them. I was like, he's like, oh, you want to paint them? I'm like, oh, duh, of course. Wasn't even thinking about it, like having him pick them up for me, but I did. Corpo Dwarf. It is sort of a dwarf. They are, I mean, they are dwarves. They used to be called the Squats, and they took them out of the game for a long time, and people wanted them, and they finally came back. I think Scott liked the Squats. Pretty sure my friend Daryl did as well. You can kind of clean it up. It brings down the intensity of my mistakes anyway. I actually wished I could have hung out with Tim. We were meetings the whole time, so we did not get to do. And I mean, it was a month before I broke my foot, so I have really been kind of sidelined for a while now. Although we filmed quite a few times before we left for Spiel, and I was, you know, having others do the work because I can't do it. Couldn't set up the cameras up above, and Nikki and our new friend Gavin, who knew the camera we were using because he uses those cameras, and it was great. Got some stuff figured out. I can't remember what the problem ended up being. I think I was the one that really figured it out, but oh, I know what it was. We had a cable plugged into it. So Nikki is mostly used to doing, when she helps now with this, is the streaming, and she plugged in a HDMI cable, and that messed up the camera. I'd never run it with an HDMI cable in it, so it was good to figure out what that was. It's like, what is going on with the camera? Oh my gosh, I don't know. And so we were trying to figure it out, and then it occurred to me, oh wait, you plugged that cable in. I those cameras will actually they would probably be a pretty good streaming camera. The problem is we can't zoom it in real time. You know, you have to get up and actually change the lens. So we use a kind of a camcorder style camera, more pro, kind of pro version of one that lets us zoom with an app. And so we can, you know, change the zoom of the table when we're sometimes playing more than one game. We did Radlands the other day, and that was the only thing we did. Oh no, that's not true. We played another game of round of duck and cover, which is fun. That'll be something we do on the show for sure. Awesome, because it plays 7 players too. Sounds like a convention schedule. I might be at PAX. Wow. That's awesome. I won't be at PAX. I'm going to be, I mean, I'd love to. We actually thought we would be going a few years. Well, actually, gosh, was it at the pandemic? It might have been. And, you know, that got canceled. But we just, by the time PAX rolls around, I'm just done with traveling for the year. And this has been, you know, much lighter than it normally would be. Although we go to Dallas more than we used to, which is great. I like to go to Dallas. But yeah, I want to go to PAX one time, unplugged. Okay. Plus, I mean, it's Philadelphia in December. Can be awfully cold. And Nikki is not a big fan of the cold weather. I mean, she grew up here. And I'm so far removed from living in snow, I probably wouldn't really enjoy it either. Although I had a job that in California that took me up to the snow the few times of the year that we'd get it. Oops. Tim, if you ever make it to LA for some reason, let us know. And if we ever get to Quebec, we actually are kind of, yeah, chilly. We are contemplating going to Chicago. I mean, we will probably go to Chicago. And so when we got married, we started our honeymoon in Chicago and went into, we flipped it because there was a Formula One race in Montreal. So we ended up being in Montreal during the, or going through it when the race was still on. So, because I can't remember exactly what happened, but we winged it. And so we went directly, so our, we stayed in Quebec City as part, so we went to Chicago, then to Pittsburgh, and then directly up into Canada through, you know, all kinds of stuff. So it was a little long trek, and ended up tried to find a place in Canada, not in Montreal, and it was there was a movie filming nearby, so the hotels were full, and so we just made it to Quebec City, but we've never been to Ottawa. And I know Tim lives on the French-Canadian side of Ottawa, and I would love to come up there. I was actually, our friend Tim, I mean not Tim, I just mentioned Tim, our friend Matt lives there as well, and so we'd like to go see him, and if we do, I'll contact him and see if we can get together and see him. Because we might do that. I mean, I'm not 100% certain. We keep talking about, because next year's our 20th anniversary. That's the big deal. Now, we won't be probably doing it when we actually got married, which was in June. But it would be fun. At least some of it. I mean, I'd like to do the same thing. It'd be great. I haven't been to Toronto. I mean, we used to fly into Toronto for the Gathering of Friends, because it was kind of the best one for us. It was a nonstop to Toronto from LA. But Scott didn't like it. He didn't like going into Toronto. And it was a nonstop for him too. But he can do nonstop to Buffalo as well. We might be able to now. I don't know. Wow, this is really bright orange. Or not orange, more red orange. I need to look at pictures of these. I used to have some. Now I have redone I did my own kind of color scheme-ish, sort of. But I jokingly call them the Blade Runner 2049 Votan. Yeah, I don't know if I remember. It's been a while since it snowed, but it's been very cold. And Candace is from there. That was like one of the reasons why we were like, well, we don't need to go, because Candace and Beth went last year and actually did some video stuff from there, which was awesome. I don't know that that's going to happen again this year. Might, but we still have not done it. And I mean, we were supposed to do that same year. We were going to do Dice Tower, which we'd never done. We've actually supposedly going to do Dice Tower West one of these days, and we just still haven't done it. And it's not, Vegas is easy for us, and actually preferable. We used to go to with Gamma. We used to go to Reno. We used to go to Vegas all the time with that, and then they moved it to Reno, and then we stopped going to Gamma. So it'd be cool. I'm not a big Vegas person. What's the name of the Blade Runner company? That's well, it's Wallace, but the original one is Wallace was the new one. I know the name. Dang it. Alcon is the production company of the movie. The movie was, but Wallace, Neander Wallace was the new guy in Blade Runner 2049. But in the original one, it was, oh my gosh, I can see the logo. You're gonna make me look it up. Man, that's so funny. I'm gonna remember it as it comes up. Tyrell. Good gosh, I should know that. The Tyrell Corp. Hey, thank you. There you go. Thanks so much. Yeah, the Tyrell Votan. But these are really kind of the Wallace ones for sure. Tyrell. There we go. I think is really what it is. Or Tyrell. I love that movie too. I think they're both great. I actually was thinking about it last week. I wanted to watch both of them. There's a series coming, which I'm very intrigued. I hope it's live action. We watched the animated series. That was pretty good, interesting. But yeah, I would love to. I love those movies. I mean, I really love Blade Runner. I was crazy for it back when it first came out when I was young, and it's very weird. Terrell, it's so funny. And like Neander Wallace, not a problem. And I've only watched that movie a few times. I've watched Blade Runner billions of times. Yeah, I really, really love that movie. But I was thinking, so I saw some article today about the solar farm that is out towards Las Vegas, and that is in the Blade Runner. Like, they have multiples out there in the movie, but there's only one right there now. And it's pretty awesome. I've seen it flying over it many times. I guess it's in Nevada. I know it feeds Vegas, so I'm pretty certain it must be in Nevada. The anime Terminator. I don't know about the animated Blade Runner. Blade Runner was like it was about a girl. It was weird. It was cool. Black Lotus, Blade Runner Black Lotus, I think the name of it was. And then there's a new Blade Runner series. I saw that they were suing, Alcon, speaking of who you mentioned, was suing Tesla and Musk and Warner Brothers because they basically used AI-generated imagery that was inspired by it, and they mentioned a new show. I'm like, what? And I want to see what, I mean, I don't know. I like all that stuff. I'm looking it up here and see what they say. Blade Runner 2099 TV miniseries. So they've been filming it this year. Takes place 50 years after 2049. Did I say 2039? Wow, Michelle Yeoh. Well, who knows? Could be great. I don't know anybody that's involved besides that. Let me see if I recognize any of the... Right now, it's multiple shows. Yeah, I don't know. Of course, Philip K. Dick wrote the original story. But cool. I mean, I'll watch it. I mean, I liked the little shorts that they did for the movie. I really liked all the new characters, and Dave Bautista was really great. And Ryan, what is his name? I'm trying to Reynolds, but Ryan Gosling really was good. Everybody's good. It was neat to see Harrison Ford in the part too. That was awesome. Always better to be hopeful, for sure. I'm never. I mean, I will. I appreciate many things. I'm a pretty good. I'm a okay audience. I used to be way better. Sort of. I used to see more. Now I don't see as much. I kind of like smaller doses of stuff. So now we sat down and watched 2 Bond movies the other night. Now I know those movies, so it's not like it's really a challenge, and I don't have to entirely pay attention, but it was fun. Nikki and I are both having a good time. You know, they're a different time. All that stuff's from a different time. Blade Runner is different. But I didn't care for the Star Wars sequels so much. I mean, I was even okay with the prequels. I mean, they're not the greatest, I get it, but there were things I really loved about it. Plus, I think George Lucas did a better job. Now, the sequels weren't terrible. The first one's actually has grown on me very much. I went to see that with Rusty. He's in a documentary called Starwait that was about the people that waited in line for Star Wars, Phantom Menace, and I think it was Phantom Menace. Gosh, is that right? For charity. And so he ended up sort of being in the line for Force Awakens. He said he wasn't going to do it, and then he did it. But he had an extra ticket. And so I didn't want to see it without Nikki, but I ended up, she's like, no, go, it'll be great. You guys have fun, we'll go see it next week. So I did, and then I kept my mouth shut. I didn't want to spoil it for anybody. I didn't talk to Nikki about it, didn't talk to Scott about it. And then I'm watching it with Nikki, and she kind of had the same reaction I did, which was like, this is beat for beat Star Wars. And it's not that bad, but it's got a lot of Star Wars. Like, it's kind of a retelling, so, but it's okay. And the cast is great. I think, what's his name? What is his name? J.J. Abrams is good at casting. I don't love it. But I love everybody in the movie, and I really like Oscar Isaac, and Daisy Ridley, and John Boyega, and just really quite a great bunch of people. There's this guy Harrison Ford, he's really good in it. Did I pull the lid off of this? I did not. Ugh. I just splashed the yellow. This is what I was going to try to avoid on my new pants and my favorite shirt here. I can get it off of there. It's for your protection, but boy, oh boy, is it a mess if you don't. If you let it flap. But yeah, I watched all of them again semi-recently. Actually, that's not true. I watched the first one on the plane. I was just like, oh, I'll look at that. But we have watched them semi-recently. And I definitely have grown to enjoy the prequels more. But they're not the greatest either. They're pretty cool. I really loved Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. Apron soon. I mean, the apron is right here. I really should be putting it on. I mean, it's a... we got it sent to us with... when we did the Kim Joy. So they sent this apron. And I have no problem wearing it, but I should be wearing it. Nikki's like, we have an apron. I'm like, yeah, I might as well just use that. Don't need to buy another apron. You liked 1 and 3. Interesting. I didn't care for 3. I didn't like Rey being... Now, you know, whatever. It's the story. I didn't like Rey being a Palpatine. I just was like, this is silly. Like, bringing back Palpatine just made me not like the movie. But I liked some of 2 a lot. I liked some of the ideas a lot. And I really like Rian Johnson, the director, but it was not great. That whole casino sequence was terrible and pointless. And I really liked Rose, and I hated how they dealt with her in the 3rd movie. I was like, come on. And John Boyega too. His character was awesome, and it was weird. So I don't know. I don't want to really bag on it because I mean it's got good things in it, and it was cool seeing Ian McDiarmid in it and stuff. And you know, I don't know. There's good things in it, definitely. I mean, I watched that stuff recently, and I like some of that a lot, but it just is so frustrating. To try to show off designs, it's true. Oh, you're saying Rise of Skywalker. So who's saying Rise of Skywalker? 2 is not as much though. Oh yeah, 1 and 3. Yeah, I'm with you on 1 and 3. I did not care for. Sadly, the romance with Anakin and Padme was just not great. And, but yeah, Rise of Skywalker was a downer. And I really liked Adam Driver. I mean, all that stuff. There's a lot of great stuff, and I thought he was okay. I don't know. But 3 was cool. There's actually some cool things in Clone Wars, but it is not great. And we love the beginning of 3. It was like, you know, the way that the battles scaled up in Star Wars to Empire Strikes Back to A New Hope. Star Wars to Empire Strikes Back to Raiders Return of the Jedi. They, you know, like the battle scenes got bigger, and that beginning of that movie, the battle scene is insane. Excuse me. And I thought Hayden Christensen was fine when he wasn't doing anything romantic. It really was not great in that regard. But yeah, Rise of Skywalker, just a bummer. Just a bummer. Because basically, the good ideas from 2, they got rid of it. But yeah, the casino thing looks amazing, but I just cannot stand... 7, 8, 9 is the sequel for me. I like 8 the most of those 3. I kind of think it was Attack of the Clones, yeah. Yeah, I want to see Megalopolis. I'm sad that it didn't do well. You've been typing a bunch there. You liked 8 the most of the 3? I kind of liked... So I liked 8. I like the ideas behind it, so that's... Force Awakens. I remember the first 2. Force Awakens. Oh, you said it. TFA. The other one was TFA, and you gave me the initials. The Last Jedi. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, Rise of Skywalker was a downer. There's good things in it, but it's not great. And it looks great, but I just too much like let's reset the whole thing, and that was a bummer. And that was the bummer about... I don't know that I would have liked Colin Trevorrow's thing because I don't think he's very good. I did not like the Jurassic World movies. And I mean, I didn't even see the third one. And I think the second one, Nikki watched it and told me about it, and I might have seen some of it, but the first one was just a disappointment. And I like the actors and everything, but it was just not great. Too bad. I mean, they have a new Jurassic thing coming from Gareth Edwards, and I like him. I have not seen The Creator. I think that's the name of it. But I really liked Rogue One. So for his sake, I hope it's great. I hope that he bounces back. I feel he got, even though people love the movie, he got a lot of the blame for the problems, I guess, with that, which is just silly. He didn't write it. And, you know, he has an artificial deadline and, you know, he's never filmed anything like that. I mean, he definitely knows how to film special effects things. I guess I saw like some project, you know, like behind the scenes things for The Creator. And they did some really neat stuff for not a lot of money. But I hope it does well for him, because I really like his. I think he's a neat guy, and I just I kind of get upset at gosh, what is his name? Tony Gilroy. I mean, obviously he's a great writer, and I'm sure he did a great job with what he did on Rogue One, but it's not all him. There's no way. And, you know, Gareth Edwards cast that, you know, with casting directors, you know what I mean? But, and I really do like Andor, and I'm looking forward to the new one. It was a retread of New Hope. That is my problem. Yeah, I don't know if I've read the Duel of Fates script. I feel like I did, or the outline or something. I don't know if it was legit. Yeah, that at least is true. I just felt bad for him because, you know, it sounds like that might have been a cool storyline, and it could have been good. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen what they did with it. It was not Palpatine, I know that. And that was where I feel that J.J. Abrams is lazy on that. I don't know, what has he done since then? That was 2019, right? I mean, he's big time. Maybe he's just not doing stuff. He might be just producing. Although I have always said that he's a great remixer. I really like Super 8, but it was basically is it Super 8? Is that the name of it? But that's basically a Spielberg movie, you know, and they got Spielberg to produce it just to, like, I don't know, it was weird. But I liked it. And I was excited that he was going to do... I thought he did an okay job on the Star Trek movies. I'm not the Star Trek purist, so I wasn't really bothered by too much of it, other than I really like Benedict Cumberbatch, but I did not like him being Khan. And the whole, like, it's not Khan kind of stuff is so annoying to me. Like, come on. You know it is. Quit trying to... First of all, just don't do that. Quit bringing all these things back. And so that's why I say he's a good remixer. Well, pretty good remixer. But here's the other thing. Who knows how much pressure he had on him to just deliver another hit after the frustrations that people had with The Last Jedi. Gosh, I'm missing all your chat. Picard. Con. Yeah, Picard was okay. We watched those shows, and I don't know. I really liked the first season. I think there were 3 seasons, right? So I wasn't a Star Trek. I've never been a Star Trek. I was a Star Trek movie guy, but I never watched the series really. That was my brother and my dad. And Nikki and her dad loved it, but I just was never that crazy about it. It's weird. I have never been like a TV person that crazily. When I met Nikki, I actually didn't even have cable TV. I only had a TV that I used as a monitor for my Laserdisc player, and I watched movies. And I mean, when I was in college, I went to the movies at least once a week, and I was at UCLA, so it was what I loved to do. And if I can get it moist enough, it goes on exactly how I want it to go on. So I need to get the right mix on this. I need to figure. I really have to use a wet palette. I think that is part of the problem. Anyway, what time is it? Ooh, it's almost time to stop. But I've always been a movie person, and so once I kind of got into TV a little bit when I met Nikki, and we started to live together. I kind of found some TV stuff that, while she was finishing her school at the time. So while she was busy, that was when I last really watched sports, and I really loved basketball. And I kind of grew out of that. I mean, we do have some TV that we like, but it's mostly over. But anyway, so we watched the Picard, and I enjoyed that first season. And I think the second season was kind of messy, and the third season was weird. I don't know. You know, basically reset stuff kind of drives me crazy. I'm like, can you just somehow figure it out instead of... And I feel that that's what was going on. Wow, this is drying so fast. Anyway. Timey-wimey resets. Rings of Power. Nikki's watching that. I love the books. Read them when I was young. Enjoyed the movies. There's nothing wrong with them. I just am not one of the people that will... I have friends that will reread the books every year and watch the movies. You know, some folks we know will watch it during Christmas. And maybe we'll do that, but I'm weird. Like, I might as well just cut to me talking. I'm done painting. I like, do I have regular glasses on here? No. I like movies and stuff, and I will sometimes sit down for it, and I don't watch as many new movies as I used to. I used to watch movies all the time, and I don't know what it is that, I mean, obviously I'm just getting older, and maybe my patience for that stuff is wearing thin, but it's a bummer. Nikki, I think she's liking the Rings of Power. She might have watched she loved, I did not watch Game of Thrones, but she might have watched one of the Game of Thrones, House of Dragons. I literally watched a few of those shows because she wanted me to see like the dragons attacking the caravan or something of the final season, so I watched that, and that was, you know, it's fine. I mean, it's not my thing. And she read the books, you know, so she she really enjoyed it for the most part, and I think she was okay with the final season. You know, I mean, everybody was a little disappointed, but yeah, I never watched. I watched like 3. You know, I watched that one episode, then I kind of watched the final one or 2 or whatever, and you know, it didn't matter to me. I don't know what exactly everybody was worked up about, but yeah, it's weird. So I don't know. I don't have that. I don't have the nostalgia bug as much. Now, like I said, I just watched the Bond ones, but like I'm crazy. I buy DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that, 4K Blu-rays, still. But and I do like to rewatch movies sometimes, but it's weird. Like, it's a weird situation when I want to do that. Maybe like if I don't know, maybe it's time of the year for sure. Like, I could see why people would watch The Lord of the Rings every year. And I don't think I've ever watched and I have them, the extended cuts. I might have watched some of it, but I've never watched them all in one sitting. I think Nikki has. It's weird. We just definitely, like, I have changed for sure in my viewing stuff. I'm actually kind of like a YouTube guy. Movies and TV hard to keep. I mean, I am still a big music person. I don't buy as much as I used to. We don't have a great radio station in LA, but I still buy music all the time, and I'm looking for new bands. We've been into a band, actually it's been a long time now, for 8 years, but this band called Lemon Twigs. They're young guys, and they were really young when we first heard them. I didn't hear them when the album came out. I don't think. I heard it a couple months later, and then we've seen them live a couple times. They're really talented, and so, you know, that's exciting. They're very retro, but it's kind of cool, and I still buy lots of stuff. I just don't buy. I try to buy new stuff. I did buy. There's a SD Super Deluxe editions or something like that. Does these Blu-rays of remixes of older albums, and I bought the one that they did. They didn't do it last year, but there was one last year for the Who's Next album, which isn't even like one of my favorite. It is a great album. It's probably my favorite Who album. But I bought that deluxe set, and it was $260. Bought it for myself because I didn't want anybody to buy me that for Christmas. And then I just got an email from the Super Deluxe people. They're doing the Blu-ray. I like surround mix stuff, and they are releasing the Blu-ray, which was in that box set, and so for like 25 pounds. So I kind of want to buy that again, even though I pretty much have it. There's a few new things on it. But that was a cool set. I didn't really know all of the stories. I guess The Lighthouse or something was what it was called, or something like, I don't remember. But it was kind of interesting to read all that. It was cool. And I buy those types of sets all the time, but I really love the surround stuff. And there's a Tearspheres. They've done one too. I bought The Hurting, I think, was one that they did a surround mix thingy on, and definitely Songs from Big Chair. But no, the one I was actually saying was Thompson Twins, which isn't even my favorite album, but I was excited that they were doing one, and because, man, I really loved those guys when I was a kid, and saw them a couple times live. Musicals, I haven't been in a movie theater in years. Well, we still go. We'll go see the Marvel stuff. We'll go see the Star Wars stuff. We'll go see... I mean, Nikki really likes the Marvel stuff, and I enjoy it. And we like to go see them in 3D. That's why... So I went to go see that Star Wars movie with Rusty, and it was in 3D. And I was a snob about 3D. I only wanted to see movies that were actually shot in 3D. And then I saw Star Wars, and it was a conversion. And it was at an IMAX. It was at the Chinese. It was an IMAX theater that did the real deal 2 projector 3D. And it was amazing. And I'm like, oh, I get it. So then I saw all those movies at the Chinese, and we would go see the Marvel movies at the Chinese too. it's expensive. It's more money than the other theaters, but it was like we'd go early in the morning or late at night when nobody was there, so it was a smaller audience, and it was just great. We would avoid the crowds of the day, you know, because there's a lot of tourists and stuff. So, but they don't play them in 3D anymore there. They did Avatar there, I think. It just depends, right? But it's a bummer because like that is what I enjoy seeing is those 3D ones that are really well done. So we saw the last Guardians of the Galaxy 3 at a new theater locally that is IMAX 3D, but it's not the same great projection. It's okay. I can't remember if that was the one that was projected in reverse. No, it wasn't projected in reverse. They gave us the wrong glasses, and we're like, I said to Nikki, "There's something wrong," and she said, I think we were saying it to each other, and then I'm like, "Oh, these are the wrong glasses." And so I went out and talked to them, and the guy was like, couldn't even care. I'm like, dude, you know, make sure you give the, you know, they don't even care. They don't want to deal with that stuff. And I kind of understand. It's 3D. I mean, it's definitely limited. People don't care. The animated movies, we've seen some animated stuff. I think one of the other things I saw, that was actually what got me to be a snob, is I saw Monsters vs. Aliens and How to Train Your Dragon and Tangled, all of them in 3D. And I ended up seeing them separately because like I did something, went out of town or something, and then Nikki went to see How to Train Your Dragon with her friends. So I had to go see that by myself. And I went to a theater in in Koreatown. So it actually was subtitled. But it was still great to see it in 3D. And those are amazing. The animated films in 3D are amazing. And we'd seen Avatar, you know, at an IMAX theater. But when I finally saw them being digitally projected on IMAX, then they looked great because they actually had the right level of brightness. And so that was what was cool. I want to see Wild Robot. I heard about that. Is it like the ArcLight or another brand? So the Chinese was, so ArcLight's gone. Those were Pacific, and Pacific went out of business during the pandemic. So they've been picking them up, but like the Cinerama Dome's closed. Chinese used to be the Man Theaters, and they just have one, well, it's 6 screens or 7 screens, something like that. But the main theater is one from 100 years ago. And they redid it 10 years ago where they dug in, they made it the rake deeper so it could be IMAX, because they had like a whole bunch of just empty space beneath their like rooms. So they redid the theater and you can't even really tell. It's an amazing job. And it's just an amazing theater. We take friends whenever they come. Like we took Annie and Sebastian to go see Avengers Endgame there in 3D. And they were like, wow, you know, this is a great theater. We took our friend Christoph to see a movie there. He wanted to go see Alien Romulus there. But I was not feeling well, and Nikki and he went to go see it at another theater that was an ArcLight theater. But yeah, it's like the theaters, the chains are struggling, and ArcLights were amazing. We have some of the Alamo Drafthouse here, like at least one. That's downtown. Deborah goes to see movies with her husband there, or at least they did. But we've never been. We've been by there, but we've never been to see anything there. Anyway, I usually need to be dragged by my movie buff friend to see it in theaters. So I'm not like that. I do like to go see movies in theaters. I think the last thing we saw, though, was probably Indiana Jones. Gosh dang, that's over a year ago. I don't feel like we've seen anything else, though. We definitely didn't see Daredevil. Not Daredevil, Deadpool and Wolverine, which I want to see. It just, the timing was weird. We were at Gen Con, I think. We went to Dallas first and then to Gen Con, so we didn't see it. And that's a bummer. I would love to have seen it. I know it was in 3D at one theater. I thought it was in 3D at the Chinese. That was what we were going to maybe see with Christoph. But either I missed it or I misunderstood the listing, or it was a mislisting. I don't know. But I like to see them in a great situation. Then I really love seeing movies at the theater. And that was how it used to be. So when I was going to school at UCLA, I mean, those theaters are still down there, some of them anyway. Like one of them just got bought by a bunch of directors and producers. The Fox, it's called the Village, I think now, but it was originally called the Fox, I think. Fantastic theater. Saw many movies there. And, you know, it was like, there was another place called the National, which is long gone, gone for 20 years or almost, maybe more. It was great. As a matter of fact, the movie Zodiac was filmed in there. It was like one of the last things before they tore it down. It was a great theater. I saw tons of things there from when I was a kid. There was the Avco Cinemas in Westwood, or the Plit, not in Westwood, in Century City, that was great. And I would sometimes go there. I definitely would go there, but after school type things sometimes. And then the Cinerama Dome was amazing. It's closed right now. I like big theaters, and I mean, that comes from when I was a kid. In Denver, my parents took me to like the Century 21, and in Denver, you know, like really great theaters. And so that is my experience where I love to see I have like very vivid memories. When I watched a movie one time with my old receiver, there was a way you could do these effects to make it sound like it was in a room. And I watched an old movie that I saw when I was a kid, and it was 100% like a complete deja vu experience. I watched it, had that sound. It was like it was like exactly as I remembered it, and that was at home. We have a projector and a screen, so we watch some stuff that way, and 3D projector and things like 3D TV. Got the last of the 3D TVs, and so that's the kind of thing I like. I like the bigger than TV experience, if at all possible. And you know, the movies like the Marvel movies and the Star Wars movies and the big films like that, definitely. I mean, we saw Blade Runner at the Cinerama Dome in 3D. I wished we'd gone to. We had bought tickets for the Chinese. It was only in, gosh, that was 7 years ago. That was only in. It was 2D at the Chinese. When we went to London, it was actually playing at the Leicester Square IMAX theater in 3D, and I wished we'd gone, but it wasn't going to work. We were in the suburbs, kind of far away, and we just didn't go. But I sure do wish we had seen it that way. Anyway, but yeah, I like that experience. That's my favorite experience, is seeing movies in the big theater. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and thanks for chatting. Thanks so much about talking about movies, Zeo Power and Roll for Crit Live. That was really awesome. I really do love seeing movies that way. I feel that experience is diminishing now, and it's too bad. Because, you know, you can do a pretty great job at home if you have reasonably nice stuff. We have a very nice OLED TV and a pretty fun projector. And I will be watching Blade Runner that way soon, and I want to watch the 3D Blade Runner. But yeah, we definitely go to the big stuff like that. I mean, I say Star Wars and Marvel. It's not the only things we see. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, because I feel like dramas and stuff don't necessarily need to be like that. And I have no problem watching. And I'll buy the discs. I mean, I still buy discs. We have streaming, although we are going to cancel a bunch of that stuff. But streaming is just is fine. But you definitely get better quality from discs, and they're mine, right? I mean, they don't necessarily, potentially they could degrade quality-wise, but I have DVDs and Blu-rays for DVDs forever, 27-year-old DVDs, and they work fine still. Well, at least I think they do. I haven't put them in a while, but and I'll upgrade to some of them, many of them, not many, but a lot were upgraded to Blu-ray, and then some have been upgraded to 4K, and I buy most new movies in 4K if I can get them. And I still try to track down the 3D Blu-rays, so those are harder and harder to get, because we used to buy everything. They were here. Then we bought everything from the UK, because they were like the only ones left, and then still some in Germany, and the Marvel and Star Wars stuff release in Japan, or at least they did. I don't know, I haven't tried to buy one since probably maybe the Doctor Strange one. That might have been the last one I tried to buy. And you have to buy them right away, or you have to pre-order them, or you miss out on them because they don't continually make them. So it's crazy. Did you ever watch an Anime music in the 90s? What was DivX disc? I have an old DivX disc for The Abyss. I just bought it because I just wanted to see the disc. I didn't have a DivX player. But what's Animusic? I don't know that one. Was it a TV show? We used to watch like a lot of the stuff on MTV and stuff like that back in the day. We were, that was the stuff I loved, like 120 Minutes. Hey, that's the Call My Mom alarm. We used to watch 120 Minutes, stuff like that. It was awesome. It was like 3D CG. Oh, that seems like I know that. I know, I should look it up and see if it's on YouTube. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back painting on Tuesday. Tuesday morning. Nikki and I will be back again next Thursday evening for Halloween. I don't know exactly what we'll play. I might as well tell you. We have the new Horrified as an episode, and we kind of want to play it because we had a terrible game. It was awesome. We just did so bad. But anyway, so yeah, we're going to stream something with maybe Derek playing with us. He's planning on being involved, so that's one reason why we might do Horrified. But we'll look around. I mean, we usually do more horror, Halloween-style themed games, but we just, we're busy. Like, we only just got back a week and a half ago, and we've only streamed games twice, so. And we played new stuff. We wanted to play the new games that we got. We have actually more things we'd like to play. So anyway, thank you so much. Let me go see if there's anybody to raid. Am I on the right thing here? Twitch. Wow. Looks like Bonds is up, but I'd like to raid some. We raided her recently. So yeah, the YouTube folks, not that there's many people chatting today, it's kind of strange. We usually have a little stronger presence on YouTube. This is very strange. I don't even see Bonds. I love the raid stuff, but it is not working. Let me just see if I can search it. Because Bond streams the same time we do, and she started at 5:30 as well, so let me just see. It's very strange. I don't get it. We follow lots of channels. Yeah, she's there. Let's just raid Bonds. Say hello for, she's playing Title Blade 2. Title Blades 2. We just did that as an episode not that long back. Anyway, say hi for me, and you all have a great weekend, and thanks again for joining me. So if you want to join the raid, I don't know how many people are left, but if you want to do it, because I think this still continues, but you can click through. Hey, it's got 16, 17 viewers. Thanks so much for joining me, and say hello. Bye, everybody. And now, YouTube folks, thanks so much for being here. I wish you could raid with us. It is so frustrating how this... I actually really like that tool from Twitch. If you don't look at Twitch, you probably should consider it. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, you guys take care. Have a great weekend.